Welcome to Carpe Diem, a podcast about personal finance and everyday life. I'm Jamie Davidson.
And I'm Nicole Jackson from Financial Center First Credit Union. Thanks for spending your free time listening to us talk about how life and family affects us achieving our financial goals.
Yeah, we've got a fun topic today. It's been in the news a lot lately, and I think you're going to keep hearing about it. And I think everybody hears about it, and they're sort of like, huh?
Yeah, that's me. What?
Today we're going to talk about inflation, and I love the idea of talking about this because my old econ teacher self comes out, and the thing about econ is they throw these terms out and people just eyes glaze over. Mm-hmm. But if you can put them in just normal vocabulary and dumb it down, I'm good at dumbing things down because I'm not the brightest. So we're going to talk about inflation because it's in the news. It's nothing new. It's been around before forever, and it's just about how high it is, what the rates are of inflation, and it's been in the news so much. We figured we'd talk about it and make it really simple. So really what inflation is this. You can buy less today for the same amount of money than you could maybe last week. Does that make sense?
It does. So does it basically go back to a supply and demand problem?
It can be a supply and demand problem. Yes, it's usually where it starts from. And what we've seen the supply chain that's been disrupted because of COVID. So we're unable to get the things that we can usually get at a good price. And because of that, what happens is when you have less supply but the same demand, your price is going to go up, right? Because it's going to just make sure who's going to buy those. And I was talking to Nicole before we started this podcast, and I've been paying attention to inflation because it's in the news, but I do a lot of the grocery shopping. And for me, I've known it's there, but it really hit me this weekend because I looked at the egg prices. And, eggs are something you just buy. You don't think too much about, egg prices. And the price of the eggs were pretty...
Were they high?
They were higher than normal. They were 80 cents higher than last week. Same eggs, same egg company. You were telling me you saw what?
Milk. It's like $4 a gallon now, which
yeah.
We go through a lot at my house, so definitely is.
And the one that everybody's been complaining about is
gas
prices. So right, so that's supply and demand. So inflation is here, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about not really the definition of that, but what are we going to do? What are we going to do to help fight inflation in our household, right, Nicole?
Exactly. So I did come up with some facts.
Fact queen, here she is.
Well, as of March 2022, so just, not even a month ago, the inflation rate in the United States has risen to 8.5% over what it was a year ago. That is the biggest 12-month inflation surge in 40 years. So, that predates me. It's been a long time. Also, consumer prices rose 7.9% just from a year ago, which is the fastest it's been since January of 1982 for the Consumer Price Index.
Yeah, that's good old CPI.
Yeah. And then according to the State of Personal Finance's 2022 annual report, 71% of Americans say that inflation has impacted their lives, and 26% of that same group say that it has a significant impact. Because inflation is here, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, and you're going to see the federal government try to reel it in a little bit. You're going to see the Federal Reserve try to raise the overnight rates and try to get it to come back down slowly. We're going to see what happens, though, because we went through COVID. Things are different right now, and we're going to see how we can sort of get back to normal. But today, let's talk about ways that we can manage these soaring costs. And we came up with 6 ways, right, Nicole?
Yes, 6.
Okay, so the first one, and this is usually the same with almost anything when it comes to our finances, stay calm.
Don't freak out.
Don't freak out. Don't go jumping off the bridge. And we did really see this when gas prices went up. We saw a lot of people freaking out. It was all over the place. Everybody, that's all they want to talk about.
Right.
But here's the problem, though. You got to have gas for your car to get to work. So really, you got to sort of stay calm.
Necessary evil.
Yeah, necessary. So slow down, take that breath. Think about what you're going to do. And I'm going to use gas as an example. We're going to talk about some ways let's get back to gas as we go through this and talk about some ways to sort of mitigate that irrational fear, that panic, right? Mm-hmm. Related to winter weather and wiping out bread and milk, don't get swept up, right?
Right.
Snow's coming in. Let's all go stand in line and get some bread and milk because we're all going to make French toast, right?
Oh, yeah. Isn't that what everybody else makes? And then, you create even more of that supply-demand problem. So,
Yep. So what's number 2?
Reassess your budget. Are there things that you can do without? that so that you can afford your bread and milk and eggs as they continue to climb, and your groceries, transportation, housing, utilities. Are there things you can give up so that those things aren't going to strap you so much financially? And at the same time, you want to consider, do you really need that gym membership? Like,
right.
Can you put pause?
You want to start looking at some things that may not be necessities, right?
Right.
You can say, where can we cut a little bit here and a little bit there, which is really always part of the budget process. But now that with inflation, you're going, okay, I'm paying more for gas, I'm paying more for food, I'm paying more here and there. What are some of those things I can get rid of? Like you said, the subscription services. If you got 10 subscription services, maybe it's time to cut half of those out of there. So always look for a way. The other thing is, maybe you start looking at generic items that you usually wouldn't buy generic.
Right.
Instead of the brand name, you can save a little bit of money that way too.
We like crackers, store brand crackers. They are just as good as that saltine brand.
They're as good as the saltines and the Ritz.
They are.
You're probably right about that. So number 3, let's take a look at your debt. Are there ways to lower your bills? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is where you really need to sit down and go and say, where can I save? Is it time to move that variable rate to a fixed loan rate with a more predictable payment, possibly?
Maybe.
Right? Is it time to maybe take some of that debt and open up a new credit card with a 0% rate? Possibly. Be careful about taking on new debt as well. So this is not the time to go out and buy the new car.
No.
If the old car's still running, we all like the smell of the new car, but this may not be the time to do that, right?
Buy an air freshener.
Buy an air freshener. It's a bit cheaper. There you go. Any other ideas you have on that about when it comes to your debt?
I mean, just take it carefully. I don't
know what it is, right?
Yeah.
You sit down and actually know what your debt is and what you're paying on it. I think with this, any place where we can find a way to cut $1 here or $1 there, it's going to add up and help us get through this.
Right. The next one that I have is postpone your big ticket purchases. So don't buy that car, like you already
like
kind of
mentioned.
mentioned.
Said, right?
Yeah. Not everything will always have this high dollar value that it has right now. We will see it start to come down later. Are you thinking about remodeling your home anytime soon, Jamie?
We've thought about it and talked about it, but now I'm going, let's pump the brakes and see what, go out and get quotes, but
yeah,
if those quotes don't line up, it's okay. We can do that 6 months from now or a year from now.
Yeah, because the supply chain shortages will slow down and make it easier to buy that lumber and steel.
And the great thing about economies are there's always somebody that's going to try to come in with the same product at a cheaper price, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer for them to get in, and they've got to wait till the price hits the right amount for them to get into the market. And once that happens, you're going to see supplies start to increase, which is going to bring prices back down, right? So yeah, you're right. What we'll do is if we're going to remodel something this summer, we're going to get a quote, and if the quote's ridiculous, we're going to say no, and we're going to put it on the back burner. Right. As long as everything's working, that's good. The refrigerator's working, we don't need a new one. The shower's working, there's no leaks, we don't need a brand new one right now.
Yeah, I wanted to get a deck, but I'm thinking with the price of lumber, apparently that has shot up 130% since April of 2 years ago. So I kind of missed the boat on getting my deck for a couple years, I think. But.
Right. Or maybe the answer is you find a different type of product to use for a deck.
Right.
Maybe you do a composite deck. And I love that, I brought it up before about the car, and, you talked, as you mentioned, this may not be the time to buy a used car or a new car because the prices are extremely high due to the lack of supply.
You're right. The average list price of those used cars are at an all-time high of $29,000.
Yeah.
That's the first time that it's ever been over $29,000.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing that with automobiles. We're seeing that with houses.
Yes.
So we're starting to see a little bit of a perfect storm here. Hopefully it sort of dissipates and we don't see it become a little bit deeper. Some people, economists, are talking about the R word and the recession word, so we'll see what happens there. All right. Number 5, become a sales shopper. I was already a sales shopper, so for me this is like a no-brainer.
We expect nothing less.
Yeah, but it's really that time to pay attention to sales and allow them to help guide where and when you shop. Make sure, hey, if you're going to buy something that you decide you need, you got to comparison shop. You got to look at the sales. Just don't just buy it because, I want this. You got it. It's time to take that time, right?
Right, which according to a Ramsey State of Personal Finance report, 38% of folks have looked for coupons for sales to save. 32% bought less than they normally would, and 29% have put off purchasing an item. So people are waiting, while 25% have switched to that store brand, like the crackers.
Yep. And you know what? Another thing is, it's time to learn to haggle. Have that discussion, In all honesty, and a lot of people don't know this, but I try to tell them. Example would be, if I do need a new refrigerator, because mine, I can't be fixed, right? I go into the store and look for the scratch and dents.
Yeah.
And then once I get a scratch and dent, I actually ask for more of a discount. So it's time to haggle.
Do stores actually want to give you more off than their scratch and dent price?
All you gotta do is ask.
I mean,
I've gotten it before. They'll say, "Well, let me check with the manager." I usually get an extra 15% off. You gotta ask, right?
Huh, yeah.
So take advantage of price matching policies as well. You've got that phone in your hand, and you're at one store shopping, and I want this. Well, check everywhere else. See if it's cheaper on Amazon, and if they'll match it. You'll a lot of times you'll see that, and try to negotiate lower prices. If it's time to buy a new cell phone, don't plan to stay with the same carrier you have. Maybe it's time to look at the other carriers and negotiate and find out which the best price for you. So on anything you're buying right now, make sure you're doing that comparison shopping. There's a lot of apps out there, and I know I've said it before, but I love Flip. Flip gives me all the advertisements on my phone. We do our grocery shopping by that. Not completely, but we do use that. Another one we love is Brad's Deals. Got a pair of shoes a couple weeks ago. Got them off Brad's Deals because I needed a new pair of shoes, and I thought the price on them was really good, even with inflation. I got a new pair of shoes for $30. So
nice.
Very nice, yeah.
Well, we also have the insurance that we offer at the credit union. We've got that special app where we can go through and we can compare, I think it's like 40 different insurance companies that we can look at.
Well, think about that too. We're talking about comparison shopping. Maybe now's the time to compare insurance, because you might be paying more on insurance than you should be because you've been with that company for many years and the price tends to go up. We talk about this a lot in different classes. So yeah, go to your bank, go to your credit union, get online. We at our credit union at Financial Center, we use a product called Insuritas, and they can quote you, I think, up to at least 10, if not more. You said 40, possibly 40. I'm not schooled on it, but now's the time to look at those things.
Right. The next one we have, number 6, is maximize loyalty and rewards programs. So check out your loyalty program, Meijer. Meijer gets all my money, but they do give me back $5 every time I spend $250. So
well, hey Meijer, you guys gonna have to send us something because I use Meijer the pharmacy because every 5 prescriptions we get $5 off.
Right.
Which you guys, it used to be 10. I'm sort of upset about that. but find something like that. In a lot of you go to different grocery stores. They ask for you to sign up for a loyalty program, and it saves you some money. Obviously that's a personal choice, but we do use it with fuel prices. I know some of the grocery stores, if you have a rewards program, it'll take price off of your gas.
Right.
So you go grocery shopping, and that equals saving some money on your gas. So it's
what
really
do you think about the cards that allow you to link it up to your debit account? I know some of the gas stations, they allowed you to prepay with their rewards card, but then you link your checking account.
I'm okay with that. I guess the question would be, can you link it to a credit card? Because a credit card's they're both secure, but the credit card I prefer when it comes to secureness, going with a credit card, because I don't like to put my debit card out there on different accounts, which unfortunately we probably do. I'm sure we have subscription services that come right off the bank account. But yeah, that's another way to save money, right?
Yep.
In all honesty, I'm the guy that drives to Costco to get my gas because it's cheaper.
How far do you drive to get to Costco to get the gas? Because it's cheaper.
No, my grandfather was like this. This guy would drive 30 miles to save 3 cents, okay?
Yeah.
No, for me, Costco is about 10 minutes away, so probably about 8 miles away.
So you're not passing 10 gas stations to get to one.
And for me, it's from what I would pay for my gas down the street, I usually save about 25 cents a gallon.
Okay, yeah, that's quite a bit.
And I usually fill it up, so you're saving, at least $4 or $5. But also, I wait to go when I need to get something from Costco as well. Mm-hmm. So we go into Costco and save your money on the things you need to get from Costco. So it's a dual trip. So the idea of driving 60 miles to save $3, and that's not the best.
Let's not
idea.
do that.
Yeah.
You also want to check your credit card points and make sure that you're not missing out on some potential cash back options too.
Right. There are a lot of people out there that are starting to do this and that have done it a lot. Where you're paying with your credit card, and then you just pay that credit card off simultaneously, and you reap the benefits of those awards. So I know our credit card at the credit union at Financial Center offers points and cash back. So see what your credit card does, and maybe that's a way you want to go too. Maybe you're using an airline card or a hotel card because you like to go on vacations. So yeah, look at that. It's another way to actually get some perks, save some money.
And you might have points sitting there now that could equal a little bit more cushion in your account.
Yeah. So it's here. You read the numbers here earlier. 8.5% over previous 12 months. It's here. It's hitting our pocketbook, and it's really easy. We can sit around and whine about it, or we can come up with some ways to sort of hopefully not let it impact our lives as much as it is. So let's recap. So what is inflation? It's when you, the consumer, can buy less with the same amount of money. That's really the basis of it, right? Pretty simple. And we came up with 6 ways to help combat the impact of inflation on you and your family. And number 1, like most things, is stay calm. Don't freak out, right?
Yep. And then you want to assess your budget, find out what you're really dealing with.
Yeah. Look at your number 3. Review your debt. See if there's ways to save money on your debt by lowering your interest rate.
And then wait for those big ticket purchases and or remodels until it becomes a little bit more economically possible.
Right. Number 5, become a sales shopper. Now, what that means is you're looking for the good prices. You're just I've got a few family members that every time there's a sale, let's go shopping. That's not what we're talking about here. So
that is a problem that I have because, like, I'm in a couple, Facebook groups where they're like, "Hey, this is on sale for $5." I'm like, I didn't know that I needed that, but now I do because it's on sale. So don't do that. Don't be me. I'm bad. And then the last one
number 6,
make the most of your loyalty and reward programs that you already signed up for.
Yeah, very good. I think if you can do these things, you're going to find it's a lot easier in your household. And remember, this is not going to last forever. And with the right tools, you can actually combat inflation and continue working towards your financial goals. Remember to maintain a budget. We talk about budgets a lot, but they are the key to achieving these goals, right? Mm-hmm. Anything else you'd recommend?
I mean, if you just try to focus on spending less than what you earn so that you are, kind of staying in the green, it'll help long run because then you'll be able to save more.
Yeah. Delay the purchase of goods severely affected by inflation, like we were talking about earlier. So this may not be the time to do a rebuild on the house or something of that nature.
Right. And then set clear, appropriate goals for yourself.
And then the fun part is make sure we're sticking to the plan. We always have a plan. Stick to the plan.
Things can sound good in theory, but
and don't. It's important here that you're aware of what inflation is and how it impacts your family. Just do some things to don't get wrapped up in it completely. I think with our household, one of the things, and I'm sort of going on a tangent here, is when gas prices are high, start consolidating trips.
Mm-hmm. My husband's bad about it. Like we'll come home and be like, oh, I need to go to the store. Like, we were just like, we drove past the store to get home. Like, why didn't we, go drop the kids off at school, then go to the store, and then come home? Yep. Like, making those extra trips is
consolidate those trips, save a little bit of money on gas that way. Make that list when you go to the grocery store, stick to the list, all those things, and, stick to it. So, thanks for listening today, everyone. Carpe Dime is presented by Financial Center First Credit Union. It's produced by me, Jamie Davidson.
And me, Nicole Jackson. Financial Center is a 7-time national award winner in the category of adult financial literacy, and our goal, as always, is
to help improve your financial life. To learn more, visit fcfcu.com.
Like what you hear? Subscribe to us on Google, iTunes, SoundCloud, the All Indiana Podcast Network, and Spotify.
Thank you, everyone, for listening today. Don't let inflation get you down. Have a great day.